my last video, I talked about Dodge making a Final Edition Challenger and Charger to close out the Gen 4 platform with a bang. But because of the Demon, Dodge promised to never make another car like the Demon again. And that has left 99% of us horsepower capped under 840 horsepower. And for 3 years, it's been drag car after drag car after drag car, but nothing with more horsepower than the Demon. Recent comments from the Dodge CEO about a higher horsepower Hellcat caught my eye and got me thinking, is it possible? Can there be a Final Edition Hellcat with more horsepower than the Demon and not piss off Demon owners? What if I told you Dodge has actually already put some Easter eggs out there that points to a ghoulish Final Edition? That this ultimate street car will sneak in before the Fed shut the party down in 2024. I'm going over 3 reasons why a 426 Hellcat ACR will be coming for 2023 in this video. So let's get to the stuff. Number 1, Dodge's EV Day is filled with Easter eggs includes that not a lot of people picked up on. One thing, the hammerhead shot reference taking aim at the C8 Stingray, a next-gen Viper. But there's one thing that has always bothered me, and now it makes sense. If you look at the slide where the Dodge CEO talks about the market share, we see a clear association between horsepower and market share. We clearly see a climb in the graph at the 840 horsepower, and this is the first clue to the puzzle hinting at a higher horsepower Challenger coming. Now, I know that the Dodge CEO has said that they won't make another Demon, but for one, they didn't keep their promise by making this drag pack, because technically it's still a Challenger. Secondly, the CEO said they're not making another Demon. The Demon is a drag spec car, and the Superstock followed that rule, being another drag spec car. If they make, for example, another powerful Redeye, it doesn't necessarily mean it'll be the Demon on the drag strip. The Demon's suspension of transferring weight to give it more traction off the line gives it an advantage against the bigger fish out there. A Veyron, a P1, and a 19 Spider, they all have more horsepower than the Demon, and it still wins in a quarter mile. It may not be by a lot, but it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. If the Final Edition car isn't a drag car, then Dodge has a loophole they can exploit by going all the way to 1200 horsepower. The Veyron Super Sport is 1200 horsepower with a curb weight of 4,052 pounds. The Demon, on the other hand, is 840 horsepower and also weighs 4,250 pounds. The Demon weighs more and has less horsepower and still beats the Veyron. Don't put any Demon tech in ACR, lighten it up some more, add some horsepower, and there's still a lot of wiggle room to play with and technically not beat the Demon. Just saying. The Dodge CEO himself has given an interesting quote directly confirming that they can give you a 1200 horsepower Hellcat if they wanted to, and says only because of wheel spin they won't do it. But what I find interesting is no mention of compliance issues. I've talked to a few sources and we're all kind of scratching our heads to why the Durango Hellcat is a 1-year trim and the truck disappeared out of nowhere. Only 3 models are left now with the Hellcat: the Challenger, the Charger, and the TRX. Being your slanderous conspiracy brother that I am, it sounds like the board is getting clear so they're going to use as many EPA credits when this new vehicle comes out. So I'm not saying the new Hellcat's going to 1200 horsepower, but it will have more horsepower than the Demon. I'll go the next level up and say maybe 907 horsepower. The Hellcat had 707, the Redeye 797, the Superstock had 807, the Demon goes up to 840. And I'll just dump the Final Edition as an ACR and say 907 horsepower or maybe 909. But 999 would be an interesting play on the Demon. And I know guys are going to cry that I'm saying ACR, but I'm not going to keep saying Final Edition every single time I want to talk about this car. But if this car is an ACR, it just needs to have suspension work done in order to make it more capable on the track. It could save some pounds by using the methods employed on the Demon and the drag pack in order to help with that. And if they use the aluminum Hellephant block, it also helps save weight in the nose. If the Demon was around 4,200 pounds, subtract 100, maybe 150 for the aluminum block from the Hellephant, and then I'm pretty sure Dodge can figure out how to take another 100, 150 pounds out of the car in order to get the Challenger under 4,000 pounds. Now, before I get to number 3, I want to talk about the Pikes Peak Challenger. In my Final Edition video, I brought this car up and saying that this car proves that Dodge can make a track spec car, but some people was commenting saying, well, you can't really compare a race spec car that probably isn't street legal to think that Dodge can do this. Well, if you do your homework like me, you'll see that Pikes Peak Challenger is very, very close to stock. And I quote, "Both of these cars are very, very stock. I can't stress that enough. Yes, they are wrapped and look racy. Both have completely functional production electronics, full wiring harnesses, production glass, etc. They are not lightweight, one-off built race cars." Now, he is talking about both a Challenger and a Charger carrier that this company runs. And this proves that it can be done with a production car. Even the upgraded engine components from the Redeye to give it more power. These are all offshore parts for this car. The wing is from a Viper ACR. The splitter from a Viper ACR. Engine components, like I said, is from a Redeye. So this car is not that much modified and it's not that far-fetched in order for Dodge to make it. The suspension, sponsored by Bilstein, you know, the same guys that do all the SRT suspension and also does it for the TRX. Now let's see what's done on the inside of this Pikes Peak Challenger. Safety cage, interior removal of all non-essential items, and the door window glass has been removed. We still run the stock dash and body controller with the production shifter and console. So you also have 3 things to change in this car. This car was original Hellcat and it got some Redeye parts to it. That's 1. It also has some Viper parts, the wing, the splitter. That's 2. And then they removed some stuff in the interior like someone would do if they had a Demon. And another interesting thing is that this car's lightest weight is 4,100 pounds. If they use the aluminum block from the Hellephant, this can be the lightest production Hellcat ever. Basically, Dodge has a test car running right underneath everyone's noses, and they can get Bilstein to make upgraded shocks based on the suspension settings for this car. Dodge can use this car to test the aero and the suspension, and then have another car like a Redeye run around with a Hellephant and updated Bilstein suspension. And it doesn't even need to be camo yet. It can wait until next year to go through all this EPA testing and its final production body testing before we see a camo body. We didn't see a production body TRX until January 2020, and then it was announced later that year in August. And there's still 5 months left in 2021. We got plenty of time for this car to pop up sometime next year. The Dodge CEO already told us that they're going to do it just like they did with the Viper. They're going to announce the end of the Hellcats, and then they're going to give you like a Hellcat high trim version, which I think is going to be an ACR. I say this car will come out 2023 because for 2024, another emissions mandate comes into effect. So 2023 will be the perfect time to go out in a bang. And another reason I say it's going to be 2023 is because of the CUDA. It's going to be kind of hard to sell a $100,000 CUDA and a $100,000 ACR at the same exact time when they already know everyone's going to pick the ACR or whatever version this car is going to be, because EVs are a tough sell and there's no guarantee that the CUDA won't be a flop. Just saying. I see this as an option as if I had a choice between a $130,000 CUDA and a $130,000 2018 Demon, I'm going to pick the Demon every single time. $130 CUDA, I got to sit around for a couple hours to charge. $130,000 Demon, all I do is go fill up by 5 minutes and I'm still competitive against the other EVs. The only thing they can beat me is a Plaid or a Remark. Just saying. Number 3, what about the engine? I know people are going to scream that the Ghoul is coming, but the ACR will not be a Ghoul. I don't see it having 1,000 horsepower from the factory. 907 horsepower is more realistic to me, and it doesn't put it that much more horsepower than the Demon. The main advantage is just going to be you don't need to run race fuel to get over 800 horsepower. The Hellephant is tweaked to give you 1,000 horsepower on 93 octane, but that's not going to work for production car because not everyone get access to 93. So that's why I say if the Hellephant or another engine based on the Hellephant would be detuned to 900 horsepower to allow people to use 91 octane. I know there are articles out there that'll say that the Hellephant won't make it to a production car for a variety of reasons, and one of them being because of emissions. I don't buy the whole emission angle because there are other car companies out there to make 1,000 horsepower plus production cars that pass emissions. To me, Dodge's main goal with the Hellephant was to make an engine lighter with the aluminum block. So Dodge worked with TEI to make a new lightweight block for them. Now, if you remember also as well, there was rumors floating around there's going to be a 7-liter Hemi V8 that'll be around the 500 to 600 horsepower range that would have had the same displacement as the Hellephant. But mysteriously, that engine got canceled, and that's when we started hearing rumors about a GMT6 engine. So there were plans to go with bigger V8s in the future, but it probably got canceled because of the whole merger and going through with Stellantis and then wanting to use smaller displacement engines. But Joe, Pigeon, whoever, they're the boss now because whenever their name's in front, they're the ones who call the shot. I mean, just in the last year, the Hellcat ACR, that was canceled. The Ram TR, that was canceled. That natural aspirated 7-liter engine, that was canceled. But talking to some of the sources I know, there is something special coming. They're all telling me that, hey, this car gonna be something special, or cars, because it's actually gonna be a Challenger and a Charger version. They're not gonna leave the Charger out in the dust like they normally do. They delayed giving them the wide body, delayed giving them the Redeye. Heck, where's the super stock at? But it makes perfect sense to put some kind of version of the Hellephant into these cars for its final edition. Let me give you an interesting fact that you might not have known. Dodge actually offers the Hellephant block in the Challenger Draft Pack. The block is the key to this whole equation. Packaging wise, the engine is the same as the Hellcat. The heads come straight from a Demon, and Dodge steps up the blower from the 2.7 from the Redeye to a 3.0 liter. The original Hellcat had a 2.4 liter supercharger, so 2.4 to the Redeye 2.7, now to a 3.0 liter. And the fascinating thing is all 3 blowers will fit on all 3 engines. And if you believe Motor Trend, the 3.0 liter blower from the Hellephant is going to be a standalone option that you can put on your production car. That's very interesting for an engine that's supposed to be off-road only or pre-1976. Dodge just needs TEI to make the aluminum block, and Dodge can supply the heads and the Demon blower, and you'll have a detuned Hellephant with the Mopar option of a bigger blower if you so choose in the future. That'll make probably what, 898 or 909 or 907, however they want to do their whole little marketing thing with the horsepower. So it's slightly more horsepower than the Demon, but doesn't necessarily mean it'll beat the Demon on the drag strip. And I know people are going to say, well, why not make the Hellephant street legal in the first place? And I'll say, why allow people to have a legal way to engine swap a car that you plan on making in a couple years and create a clone? Dodge won't let superstock owners get Demon parts. Heck, even the Hellcat Redeye engine has the same disclaimer of not being street legal, and you still can't get the race ECU. So why offer a street legal Hellephant? Just saying. And that's it for this video, guys. What do you think? Can Dodge make a 426 aluminum Challenger and Charger ACR based on the Hellephant? I'm thinking the price range around 89 to 90K before you start adding all your little carbon and your track pack and all the options. And I'm thinking you better get this car to like 110, 115. The Pikes Peak Challenger, that proves to Dodge that yes, you can throw in some ACR parts, a big wing, some canards, a splitter, and that'll give you a nice little street car that can do turns. That does not have to be heavily modified. Dodge can just go to Bilstein and have them develop some shocks for the ACR because they already had the Pikes Peak car that they've been developing shocks for. Dodge got the buzz out there with the Hellephant, so why not capitalize on it and put it in one of these cars? Or a version of the engine into a car. Dodge has already put the Hellephant block into the drag pack, so they're already willing to use this engine in a variety of applications. And there's nothing to say that a Hellephant powered car isn't running around right now doing testing without any camo on. If you see my TRX Redeye video, maybe it has a version of the Hellephant engine in it that's doing testing for the 2023 model year because Ram needs something to compete against the Raptor R. So why not a Hellephant everything for 23? Send the V8 era out with a bang. Leave me comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. If you're still here, leave me a like and help a butter out by subscribing to the channel to help me get 10,000 subs. And until the next video, I'm out.